This video is empowered by GreenManGaming.com. Get your games here for the fraction of the cost there. Hello, YouTubers and all those who happen to watch another fun-filled episode of DanVanDam and Friends. Episode 3, and we have quite a few topics to discuss. We're going to bang these out of the park like some sort of cheesy porno actor. But first, I'd like to introduce one of my good friends I've known for quite some time. He is known by the gaming community as the Rasputin, and he even has the epic beard. Mindwipe. How you doing, bud?
The Rasputin? Oh, come on. You've got to get it right, my friend.
It's the Rasputin of gaming.
All sci-fi and gaming.
Oh, my.
The co-host of the Elite Force podcast. And all sorts of stuff on the SNS radio network. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
You know? Also the founder of, by the way, thedailygamepad.com.
He has to put that in there.
Well, I do. I'm the one who pays for the fucking thing.
Oh, my.
Yeah, don't do the George Takei shit. We already got that on the outtakes. But nonetheless, it's good to be here.
Well, we have to get it in there somehow. Just
Indeed.
like...
Indeed. So what we got for today?
So today we got some highlights from PlayStation 4. Now, for those who are cheap like myself, and everyone else across the goddamn globe at the moment because of the economy, PlayStation 4 is getting a few...
Now you there.
Yeah. It's just like a hand job from Obama. Ay-ya!
Ooh.
So, there's a few free-to-play games in its lineup for the PlayStation 4, which is going to be Warframe, PlanetSide 2, and DC Universe.
Interesting lineup.
While there's some variety there, Warframe, as Phil will tell you in a couple moments, is practically a sci-fi third-person style shooter with some, it's pretty much inspired a lot from Dark Sector, which is from the same developers. PlanetSide 2 is from, obviously, the original guys who made PlanetSide 1. It's a little bit a mixture of Battlefield meets Halo, which a lot of people are getting sort of sick and tired of Halo, but, the Battlefield side is still predominant. So it's actually still popular in Steam. I mean, it's Warframe is semi-popular in Steam, and DC Universe is also popular in Steam. Generally, PlanetSide 2 and DC Universe, I'd say, is the more stronger titles out of the lot. DC Universe is not doing as strong as it did in the, its first free-to-play launch, but, hey, I mean... A couple free games to me is not a bad idea, and it works well. It attracts people to the console, gives them something to play while they're waiting for new AAA titles to come out.
I agree on that. I mean, the one thing about Warframe is it's like if the developers could think of everything they could rip off, they did. I'm serious. It is. There's nothing new about this game. It's got a third-person aspect. Okay, very great, gratis and stuff like that. But you've got the elements of Stargate and the Borg from Star Trek and all sorts of other crap mixed in together to make Warframe. It is not, in my opinion, a very worthwhile, imagination game. It's just kiboshed. It's like kit-bashed everything together and make a game and churn it out to the masses and... put a marquee on it and then sell it to you all. That's all this game really is, in my opinion.
So you're generally trying to say it's like a Appleseed meets Stargate.
In a way, yeah. In many ways, yeah. Because basically, it literally is. It's just a kit bash of every other sci-fi genre you've seen. I mean, literally, if you could have a who's who of pop culture reference, this game will actually sums it up in a fucking easy step.
Seriously, a fan service, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fan service game. Basically, you go through this game going, that's a Stargate reference, that's a Star Trek reference, that's a Star Wars reference, that's a Babylon 5 reference. It literally, you go through this game and that's literally what you're getting. Fan service to all the fans to find out what they ripped off. That's all this game really does for you.
And then it's a pretty good shooter.
But don't get me wrong, from what I've seen from the footage and from the developer notes and stuff like that, it is a good shooter. But it's not a unique game.
Nah, I guess it just supply the flavor palette for a while.
I can appreciate why it's a free-to-play game.
Yeah, and there's also that cash up and all that too. But, alright. Generally, the Sega Spectrum is being speculated, pardon the pun, that it's a console. On the other hand, a lot of people saying it's another Sonic project that Sega's working on, and they're simply titling it Spectrum. Even though we already seen the Lost Worlds trailer and all that, which that's my vibe, feel like that's what the Spectrum was even hinted to be. But I don't know, a lot of folks are trying to say that the Sega Spectrum was that prototype for the Sega Saturn console there. I think it was the Sega Saturn or Sega CD. I have a brain fart with that, but a lot of people saying that was going to be the Spectrum, even though blatantly so, it's not. That was just some dev console that this was for the Sega Saturn that never came to light. But people, photoshopped it and put the Sega Spectrum on there. But I don't know. When it comes to Sega, they do not have enough money to even publish a console, let alone... I mean, they have...
Do we know that? That's the question. Do we know that?
Well, with Japan, generally in Japan, the economy there is trash. It's not doing too well. It's okay, but it's not doing too well.
Well, who's to say that maybe Sega didn't move its company to China?
Well, I really cannot picture...
We could have a whole debate on that one, because a lot of companies go to China. Hello, Apple.
Oh, my. But no, it's again, I can't really see Sega doing another console. It just does not... the time and the place is not right at the moment. It would be going against three other consoles, and they would get overshadowed.
Right. I agree. It's the wrong time of the day. But the one thing is, I can see it in another light as well. Like, say, for example, you've heard about another console that potentially might be coming out and maybe announced at E3. That's been also kiboshed and saying it's just rumor also, and that's the Steam box. The Steam application set-top box.
Yeah, some company was making some cube-looking like console. It was not
exactly.
the Unia. It wasn't the Unia, but it was some other one. It was like someone you can interchange it and all that. So people were bitching saying, "Oh, you can't change it. It's a piece of cube shit. It looks like a Borg's penis."
Doesn't matter. It doesn't. Yeah, true. But the one thing about it, you can't deny the fact that both Valve and Sega are looking into ideas of cloud gaming, especially when it comes to their own, platforms. And the one thing about, I agree with one of the YouTubers who said that basically maybe the whole idea of the Spectrum platform might be like a cloud Origin style or Steam style gaming subscriber base, where you can get every single Sega game ever, in their original format, which is not a bad idea. But I think there's a little bit more to that they may be developing. I think they're actually trying to test the waters to see if they've got a viable market again. But I don't think it's going to be a console right now. I think this is going to be a cloud service with all the other games to see if it's popular enough to actually justify them actually getting enough money to actually branch out again and maybe get back into the game market maybe next year or in the next 2 years.
Yeah, I would say 2006 would be probably an interesting year for Sega to try that and play it safe for now with some sort of cloud service. I mean, if I'm playing the devil's advocate and being wrong with my opinion, what I can see them doing is using a Droid device, something you can plug easily into a TV or something, and it works with the existing internet connection and just stabilizes and all that.
As a starting point, yeah, that would work. Yeah, as a starting point, and then if it actually proves positive that they've actually got a market both with the tablet market, the Droid market, the iPhone market, and stuff like that, then they may branch out and maybe make a set-top box that actually for the home market, similar to what Valve's trying to do with the Steam box, even though they actually kind of like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, we're going to do it, we're not going to do it, yes, we're going to do it, no, we're not going to do it, we're going to stay with the PC. They're kind of like in and around the clouds when it comes to the Steam thing at the moment. But
yeah, then you had NVIDIA making that damn Shield device.
Oh, God, yeah.
Believe in a Shield.
That makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
It's a streaming device, which I can see that.
Yeah, does the term on live, on crack ring a bell?
If it was on crack, then it better be on the butt crack of some sort of very sterile hooker. That's all I got to say. But it's...
Good God, was On Live the biggest epic fail ever?
I mean, I liked On Live as a service. I tried it on my PC. It's good on PC, but just anything else.
Fuck all on everything else.
Yeah. It's a good service. I give it that. It's just sometimes it gets skippy and choppy. But
the one thing about cloud gaming services is you need a good. Well, it's too early because you need a good broadband connection. And what does most ISPs provide you? Shitty fucking broadband.
Well, that and you also have companies such as Verizon and all that actually does
It's not just
secretly.
Verizon. Look over here in the UK. Look at fucking Virgin Media. Hello, dipshits who keep me fucking down. You know?
No, what I'm going to say is that Verizon and all that, they throttle the shit out of
Yeah,
people.
they do that. This is what. Now you wonder why people use virtual private networks all the fucking time. Because that eliminates the throttling. Because they just want to make more money out of you by throttling you.
Yeah, so you think your internet's slow, then they say, oh, well,
Oh, it's not. It's them doing it.
I know, so they go, well, we have this even faster service when they're really just going to give you technically the same shit you're supposed to get in the first place. Then they'll just upgrade you to $5 extra a month so they get that extra money in their pocket, and you're pretty much getting what you're supposed to get in the first
virtual
place.
private network. Just get a virtual private network add-on to your account. You know, you cash you an extra $5 and you'd be like, shit, this works! Yay!
Run naked through the streets.
Not very good for gaming, though. I will admit that. Not very good for gaming unless you're in the local area where the VPN is. But other than that, great for browsing and, you know, checking out all the stuff without being throttled. But the beauty about it is, if you don't want to get throttled, use a VPN for the rest of your browsing activities. When you want to game, turn it off and then game. You never get throttled then. Trust me, I played 15 hours straight of Star Wars The Old Republic and never had a problem because they couldn't throttle me.
Oh, my. So, speaking of the sci-fi world, we have this big subject matter going on with sci-fi. So, we wanted to bring you something from Mindwipe here, and this is something that is sort of dear to his heart, and that is Star Trek. Now, everyone knows underneath the great sun, this man loves himself some Star Trek.
No, I don't love myself. I just like Star Trek. I've been a Star Trek fan since I was a toddler.
Oh, come on, Phil. When you become a tyrant,
I don't love myself. I don't love myself some Star. Do I look like Baron Dixon?
Oh.
Right. I like Star Trek. I like Star Wars as well. I'm a sci-fi fan. Let's put it that way.
So, Star Trek Online, it's doing a lot better than it originally did when it was pay to play. So now it's came out, you know, a lot of folks are re-looking at the game again in a new light, and it's generally doing pretty decent from what I'm remembering and seeing here. And I've tried a little bit. I enjoyed the Starflight scenarios and all that, and, you know, solving domestic problems like some sort of sci-fi cop on crack. But however, there is a new said expansion that came out for it called The Legacy of the Romulus. If I pronounce that correctly.
You did.
And Phil, of course, had his hands on this. She stroked and pet this kitten.
I did not stroke and pet this kitten. I avoided this piece of fucking turd like a fucking, you know, targ on a fucking rancid piece of carcass. I just did not want to get into this whatsoever, based on a prior experience I had with Season 7 of Star Trek Online, because basically Star Trek Online Season 7 was an abject fucking fail until Legacy of Romulus expansion pack came out a few weeks ago. But I've got to admit, I played this, and I played it for a good few hours in the campaign mode as the Romulans, and I've got to admit, Perfect World have actually done a really good job on this.
So you
They really have. They really have. They've upped the game.
They captured the unique nature of the Romulus.
Well, not only that, the one thing is, if you can compare it to games like Star Wars The Old Republic, which is another game I play, and I actually pay a subscription for. It's one of the few fucking MMOs I will play a subscription for, and I'm not a Star Wars fan. But however, the one thing about the game, if you could compare it to that Star Wars game, is Legacy of Romulus, Cryptic Studios, who do most of the development, and Perfect World, who actually churn it out, I've actually done a very, very nice job based on the fact that they knew where their competition was. They knew that Star Wars The Old Republic was their biggest competition, and they've actually churned out something that's very, very similar in many ways to what Star Wars The Old Republic is currently utilizing, but they've done it in a bit of a unique way. They don't utilize everything as voiceovers, but they've actually started to incorporate it, which is they never did in Star Trek Online before, apart from some of the spin-offs. Never did it before. But also, they're actually incorporating more in-depth and wonderfully textured environments as well. If you look at some of the environments when you go to the planets and stuff, like New Romulus and stuff like that, as well as some of the space combats and stuff with the ships and stuff, you find that they've really gone to town on the texturing, the dynamics, the inside gameplay, making it a very Star Trek feel to it. As from the classic series and the TNG series and stuff like that. But also making it a little bit more for a gameplay and more beautifully. Something just to, you just pan around and look around and go, shit, this is beautiful.
A lot of exploration, you would say.
Yeah. Just by looking around, they've really gone to town on the actual in-depth detail and the environments they've made. And I have to admit, even BioWare hasn't done that when they did Rise of the Hutt Cartel. And because they've utilized the same engine they did with that game. But this is really beautiful. I have to admit, absolutely first rate. I can't fault them for their design on this game. Whether the gameplay actually pans out, I do not know, because I haven't concluded the actual gameplay of the Legacy of Ramnus yet. But initially, I've got to admit, not too bad from Cryptic and Perfect World. This is the first for them. I'm actually impressed for once.
It's practically a sandbox for Trekkies in a nutshell. So, speaking of Trekkies and all that good stuff, there's a mod that Phil wants to sort of plug here as well as discuss and go over.
Oh, just like, it's like put it out there, it's like, yeah, he wants to plug this. It's like, he couldn't do it a subtle way, but no, he has to. He wants to plug this.
Indeed, there's nothing subtle about this.
There's nothing subtle about DanVanDam, folks.
I'm very vulgar and, oh, look, a butterfly. But no, Sins of a Solar Empire.
Believe me, I've known this son of a bitch for too fucking long. Trust me, he just doesn't beat around the bush. I can't follow him for it.
Oh, my.
Don't do the George Takei thing, for frick's sake.
Google search George Takei and Howard Stern. No, okay, so Sins of a Solar Empire. Google search George Takei. It's okay to be Takei. 50 Shades of Grey. So we got a mod that he's working on for Sins of a Solar Empire, and this is Armada 3. However, I basically only have a very rough estimate about the said mod. I generally know enough as he provided me in the past. So therefore, I'm just going to turn it over to him and give him the driver's seat, which this Millennium Falcon's will most likely crash in a Death Star by the end of this, but we'll fly and enjoy the ride.
You mean like R2-D2 flying over the view screen in Star Trek 2009?
Yeah,
which actually happened, by the way.
Yep, I know. That was pretty funny.
It's like, yeah. Hint to who's directing the next Star Wars films.
Oh my. What the?
But, nonetheless. Right, yeah, basically, Sins of a Solar Empire, Rebellion. Those game players who play Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion. And there's a lot of you out there. This is a bit of modding news. We are working on, there's a team of 3 of us, working on Star Trek Armada 3, Total Conversion, where we're actually bringing all the wonderful elements of Star Trek Armada 1 and 2 from the classic games from Activision into a new light with Sins of a Solar Empire's engine. One thing I'm going to give Stardock and Ironclad their due is they provided some really wonderful tools for up-and-coming developers and gamers to actually make their own take on a classic RTS. And that's one thing I love about Sins of a Solar Empire. They actually said, here's a game that we've made, but if you want to mod it, go nuts. Without any harm. Kiboshes, apart from a few limitations on the executable that were hard-coded that you can't change. A couple of things like that. But they gave everybody the elements to do it. And I've got to give those 2 companies their due on this. Because you don't see many games doing that. However, we are working on Star Trek Armada 3, which is basically recreating Star Trek Armada 1, Star Trek Armada 2, and then enhancing it into the 21st century with the Sins of the Solar Empire Rebellion engine, version 1.1. Check it out at moddb.com. Just search for Armada 3. You'll find us. You'll see some great footage. You'll see some great screenshots, and you'll see some great updates on what we're doing in the thing. If you're a Sins of a Solar Empire gamer, especially RTS fan and stuff like that, check us out. You'll find it very informative and stuff. I just wanted to get that cheap plug in there because we're running out of time. If I had more time, I would talk more about the Barney mod.
Oh, guys! If I gave Phil like 3 hours, he would go.
I know.
So Sins of a Solar.
I feel like Alex Jones right now. It's like, yeah, check out this.com.
Yeah, tinfoil hats all the way. But so Sins of a Solar Empire. If you got in a nutshell, guys, with this mod, it's just like
Armada 3. Armada3.com. RTB.
Cough. So,
Alex Jones ripoff.
oh, I went blank. So, yeah, generally it's Sins of a Solar Empire, Rebellion.
And I'm British. I should be the Piers Morgan guy.
Jesus Christ, Phil. So, this is like a mod. For a nutshell, guys, for the simulator slash sci-fi fans out there for the PC, this is a lot like how Skyrim is as a modding community.
It is, yeah.
And it's just a very active community. If you look on, I am pretty much the mod. Shit, what a brain fart there.
ModDB.
ModDB, there you go. Generally, it's just like this. It's a very, 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 very elusive style mod where it's just going to be put out there and it's going to be awesome, and you can download it and you can touch your nipples, you can stroke your starship as hard as you can until the Romulans come out of your
Yeah, but basically you can just turn around. You can turn around and you can battle the Klingons, the Romulans, and the Federation and stuff like that, and then you can battle the Borg. And then when you see the Borg and they really get powerful, you'll go fuck, because basically we've really balanced the game out. So when the Borg really get powerful, they get fucking powerful.
They start teabagging the world, but
especially with the Titan, which we haven't revealed yet.
Hush is
That's
the
a
word.
hit. That's a hint. Because the one thing about those Sins of the Solar Empire players, they know that there's always a Titan. So in the Federation, they have a big Uber Federation class, which most people know is already Excalibur. They've got some stuff that's been rehashed from Star Trek Armada and stuff for the Klingons and the Romulans. The Romulans is obvious; it's going to be the Scimitar. But with the Borg, we've got a surprise for you. A big fucking surprise.
Prepare to drop your trousers, gentlemen. So, alright. As George Tekai references, and J.J. Abrams' sun flare and lens flare and all the flares in the world, and woo! I will bid you guys adieu, because that is the end of this segment for now. I'd like to thank Phil, or better words as the Rasputin of sci-fi / general gaming at this point, because I think he just made everyone rampage for the Warframe reference.
Well,
but
thanks for having me on. I mean, the Warframe thing is just a fucking kibosh and stuff like that. I mean, like, PlanetSide and DC Universe look pretty promising, but, but thank you for having me on it. It's been an interesting discussion overall. I've enjoyed it. Yeah, and don't forget, check out thedailygamepad.com.
Indeed. You can definitely check out thedailygamepad.com, check out Chris Jones Gaming, and, of course, any other side project that they have. I'll try my best to try to provide it in the description, so if you are interested in such Sins of a Solar Empire content, I'll be sure to provide all resources provided. So again, I'd like to thank Phil. I'd like to thank myself. I'd like to thank the Romulans, even though they're kind of a hot and ugly race.
My favorite race.
Oh my.
Pointy ears, passionate, kind of like the Sith on crack.
In better words, the women are just as tenfold. So yes,
all the Romulans need is lightsabers.
Oh, they do, but George Takei's handling them right now. So George Tekai is the main subject today, I guess. So all right, take it easy. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.